Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and today I'm going to be joined by not one, but two guests who are the co-founders of the LiveK app. Before I dive into our conversation and we chat more about the app itself, I wanted to introduce you to my guests. First, Drew Tanner, who is the co-founder and CEO of LiveK LLC. Drew holds a dual concentration master's degree in sports psychology and exercise physiology and is a graduate of Fast Track Tech Venture at the Kansas City Small Business Technology and Development Center and Entrepreneurial Scholars at the Rainier Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Drew currently works as the fitness director at a local Kansas City country club and has organized several running events, including two in Kansas City. His co-founder and COO is Coehlo, who is a successful entrepreneur who specializes in custom furniture and historic home restoration based in Newport, Rhode Island. Kyle is also an avid runner, woven deeply into the local running community in Rhode Island and heading up a product testing group there. Both Drew and Kyle are lifelong friends who have brought their education and management skills together for the creation of this innovative mobile application. Kyle and Andrew, welcome to the podcast show. I'm so excited to have you as my guests today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So tell us about the app. Can we find it yet? What's going on with it, and how is it going to help us stay motivated with our fitness routines?
Yeah, you can absolutely find it. You just have to go onto the Apple Store. It's not out for Android yet. It's iOS only at the moment while we're testing here. You just search LiveK Running. It should be the first thing that comes up, and you just download. It should come up with any races in your area, and you can register, show up, and run.
Awesome. I love that. So super easy to get started. Can you talk about who is out there setting up these races and creating them for users?
So we have to make you an administrator, an individual administrator to walk a route out to create it in the area. But once it's up, the administrator can leave it up for as long as they like, and people can download the app as a user, show up and run and compete against each other.
Awesome. And then just for people tuning in this month, May 2018, you mostly have been testing and creating routes around Newport, Rhode Island. Is that correct?
Yes, out in Newport with the two running groups. As I said, Run Newport has their own running group. It's a running store in Newport. And another running group, Run and Chug, which starts and ends over at the Fastnet on Broadway.
Okay.
So
a famous bar in Newport, Run and Chug appropriately.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Well, I didn't know about that running group when I lived in Newport about 10 years ago, but sounds like a fun way to get people excited about running.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a very casual, great group of people. Summertime is definitely the time to be there if you want to meet a lot of new people. But a lot of running enthusiasts, people who, do it casually, but also who are very competitive, which is our market, really. That's what we're looking for.
So what inspired you guys to create the app in the first place?
Well, I actually came out to Kansas City a few years ago. I was working in college strength and conditioning and needed to leave the Illinois State school system and had just gotten engaged and was trying to stay close to my then fiance. And so at kind of a last minute found a job in Kansas City, closest I could to St. Louis where she was located. And, the job was great. It was good money, but I had a lot of time where I was twiddling my thumbs. So I had this idea for a different type of fitness app. And I worked there with a lot of athletic people, mostly professional golfers. But I had one lady in particular who was a pretty high-level amateur runner, travels the country to participate in running events. And she had some issues with her hip. We were working on rehabbing that. And she came to me one morning, absolutely miserable, lamenting about this race that she had participated in just that morning. She had to be there at 6 a.m. The race went off at 7:30. She had to drag herself out of bed. She said there was no parking, 2,500 people. She's bumping elbows with everybody. And as she's sitting there, she's telling me, I just wish that I had some sort of way that I could compete and have all the things that I want out of a 5K or a race, but without having to deal with all those other things. And I just had this light bulb moment come on.
Yeah.
My app I was working on was a kind of a combination running and workout app. And I said, and I was looking at developing it myself. And I just had this light bulb moment. I said, wow, that is so much simpler than what I'm trying to come up with. And I have this person in front of me. I imagine that for someone who runs these races all the time, that's something that they feel. And I've had some experience in event management. I'm not much of a runner, but I've organized several 5Ks, 2 here in Kansas City. So I know kind of that space. And from there, I was turned on to this great organization here in Kansas City called KC Digital Sandbox, which funds ventures up to $25,000 if they think you have a great idea. And I was lucky enough to fall in with the program's director, a wonderful woman named Jill Meyer, who believed in the idea. And I pitched it to a panel, and they decided to fund us.
Oh, it's super exciting. So now, when did it get funded then? How long has it been officially going?
So we received our first round of funding in March of 2017.
Okay.
It took about 3 months to find a developer. They have a lot of stipulations about development, a lot of red tape and T's that have to be crossed and I's that have to be dotted. So once we found our developer, they kind of hit the ground running. It's a great young group of kids who work out of the University of Missouri, Kansas City. They're just graduated from college, starting their first development company, and this is kind of their flagship project. And there's been some growing pains, to be sure, but at the end of the day, they actually produce something that works. From many other development companies we talked to, they said any development company that you were going to trying to do what you're doing is going to have a lot of trouble. It's not something that can just be produced overnight. There's going to be a lot of guess and check. And for them to actually start and finish our minimum viable product in 6 months was actually pretty impressive. So we completed our MVP in November, and we've been testing it ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. What's been some of the feedback you've gotten from the runners using it so far? Hey friends, that is your halfway point reminder. If you're joining us and going on that out and back 15-minute walk, you want to turn around now. All right, back to Drew and Kyle.
Well, they're definitely interested in it. They find it to be something new and interesting. Mm-hmm. It's a fun way to incorporate it into other types of workout programs. Like I said, with the running groups, but we also have some interest from another workout group. You may be familiar with it, but November Project. Basically, it's just they find it to be a fun and new way to incorporate exercise into your life and get people together and having fun. And you have a little bit of a competition with your friends. But they've been feeding us a lot of feedback on really GPS and just the kind of features that they're looking for on their profiles and how they want to interact with each other.
Sure.
We've been able to take that and create sort of our own on our new redesign. Actually, we've been able to start incorporating more of a social network and a more efficient administrator board. So with our social network, we're kind of diving more into having groups that can. It's being geared towards running clubs. Running clubs, running clubs and groups where you can create your own group and. You could sort of interact with your group members, other groups. You can challenge each other to races,
Got it.
As a group or individual. But yeah, we've definitely been pushing hard, and we've been getting a lot of really good feedback with what we got right now. Even though it's sort of a minimal product, but like I said, we're able to create a second version out of it that I think is really going to start to impress some people. And we're going to continue that iterative cycle every few months where, our developers design based on feedback, develop, then deploy. And then we'll have our testers try it out.
They'll give us more feedback, start over again, design, develop, deploy, keep doing that until we have a really, really great product that we can launch. We have so many different things we'd like to do with this app, but initially it's really going to come down to generating as many users as we can, and that's going to really be driven by the social features. That's why people participate in running events. It's not just for the competition, but for the community as well. So we've already provided the competition. Now we're working on providing that community aspect within the app, where running club organizers can administrate, they can send messages out to their groups, and based on the time of year, running club participants, they have kids, they have things that come up in their life, and sometimes they get away from their group and they miss it. This is a way where if your group meets on a Wednesday, your club administrator can put a race out or put the run out to everyone else, and you can go run it on a Friday and communicate with your fellow club members and still feel like you're part of the group.
Yeah, no, that's really cool because I know, like you said, sometimes, I know for myself personally, there's been a few running clubs I've wanted to get involved in, and I have a lot of clients at the same time when the running clubs meet, so I can't really do that, be part of the community in that way, but that would be cool to be able to be a part of it just on my own time and keep up. So that's really, really cool. I love that. And then I like how you said too, if everyone's out there running the route at the same time, it's easier to have that competition than when you're just trying to run out there on your own and get a faster time, right? So
exactly.
Very cool. So there's a few routes in Newport that are pretty active. Any good times people looking to compete on, or should we try to send some people out there to try to test out the route?
Well, there should be a couple of routes still available. We actually try to we try to keep a couple of routes available for about a month, and then the next month we start to create new races just to bring something new.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so if if they download the app, they'll be able to immediately see on their homepage what races are available in their area. If they set their filter to a certain distance away, they'll be able to see what's available in their area. So yes, there is currently a couple available in Newport. And all you got to do is just get yourself to the start line, press start, and run.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
And Christine, we're really excited to share some of these administrative duties with you if you'd like, and you can set up races right there in your area, and then your local listeners can come out and give it a shot.
Well, I started doing, I got permission for the Hermosa Beach Farmers Market, which is right on the pier in Hermosa Beach for anyone that, there's actually two, but that's the one that I go to on Wednesdays, and it's from 1 to 6, and I set out a route just for people to be able to check out, but it would be cool to be able to have them compete. I love that idea, so that would be awesome. We have on the 15th, or not 15th, I think 16th of May is a Wednesday. I have another time when I'll be out there, because I have some race medals as well, so kind of encourage them with the bling, right?
That'd be great.
But I'd love to do that, and I'm excited to find out how to get that set up from you guys so that we can get people out here on the West Coast enjoying it as well. So that'd be really fun.
Absolutely.
Now, do you guys ever partner with, because we have a really good race series out here called A Better World Running, and they do races pretty much, I think last weekend they had a virtual race, but pretty much every weekend they have at least 2 locations for races, and they do a 5K, 10K, 15K half marathon route. Have you ever partnered with, because it's a small community group, but then they often run that same route a few times. So I wonder if that'd be something for them to have that for people to try on their app and just see, if they're beating their competition, week to week for one of those races. Could be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially right now, we're trying to do other things to validate results right now.
Sure.
One of the things we're doing with our developers, which is really going to be what's going to protect our intellectual property, is we're developing a machine learned algorithm that'll prevent cheating. So this algorithm will to detect if you're on a vehicle. It'll be able to pinpoint your GPS location. It'll be able to flag if you are not the one running. As soon as you put your phone in your pocket, as soon as you purchase it and turn it on, it's reading you. It knows what your gait cycle is like. And with our machine learning algorithm, it'll be able to flag if not you is the one running. So,
wow, yep.
So once we're able to do that and we can really validate these results, we can really start to add more skin in the game, if you will, to these races, whether it be gift cards to local running stores, because one thing that, we know that runners want, especially the hardcore competitors, is they want to know that the results that they're going to have are going to be valid. They want to know that the guy who finishes a second behind them actually finished a second behind them. So, as the GPS technology catches up, which it is, we actually had some exciting articles that we read in just the last couple of weeks that this GPS technology that was going to give cell phones and your wearables, such as your Apple Watch or your Garmin watch, will have centimeter level accuracy, is going to start coming by the end of 2019, when the original estimate was 2021. So for us as a company, is going to need that to be successful. For the technology to be catching up that fast is very, very exciting.
That's awesome. I just bought a watch, and I'm like, I don't know how accurate it's being sometimes. So I guess wait another year, and that's crazy, to a centimeter. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it all comes from something called a dual frequency GPS receiver. Actually, your watch and your phone have that capability right now, but because the amount of signal that it'd have to put out and the amount of bandwidth that would take up, it would use so much of your phone's processes that you would not even be able to make a phone call. Couple cell phone chip companies have actually purchased these algorithms, one from a professor at the University of Texas, Austin, another from another professor at Cal Berkeley, and are going to be starting putting these chips into phones that can actually provide this dual frequency GPS, and it's small enough to actually fit in your phone. So it's a really exciting time for someone in the fitness space who wants to do some different things with location tracking and apps, and even just your data from your runs. It'll be so much more accurate than it's even been in just the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Well, I'm definitely excited to see how things develop and see all the cool things you guys end up doing with the app, and I'm sure the listeners are too. So we have to download the app, and we can get it on iOS right now. And then how can we stay updated if we don't have an Apple device, maybe, or just to follow along the process and the journey that you guys are taking?
We do have a Facebook website. We do have a Facebook page. We're finishing our site right now. Once we have our new designs finished, we actually are having some exciting meetings coming up with some local Kansas City companies. We won't say who, out of fear that they might pull that meeting away. But something that would probably move our app along a lot faster than we could on our own.
Sure.
If you look up what companies are located in Kansas City, you might be able to figure that out. So if you just stay apprised of that Facebook page, it's a Facebook page, LiveK Running. It should give you any updates as to when we're finishing our Android side. Once we really kind of build out this social network, and we still, like I said, we already have our flagship service that lets you run these races and compete against each other. We'll probably start to build it out for Android, just being cost effective and trying to be a lean startup. You perfect one thing first, and then you build the other next. So we're perfecting. We chose iOS first just because of not necessarily the best GPS accuracy, but just purely out of uniformity across all phones available. Android phones tend to have more variants. Outside of the Galaxy and a few of the better Nokias, the quality of the GPS receiver is not very good. And on top of that, when you're building an app for Android, you don't just build it for Android in general. You actually have to build it out for each individual device. Whereas with the iPhone, you just build it out for the iPhone. Doesn't matter which generation it is. So it is the more cost-effective route long-term.
Yeah, things you have to consider, right? That for I've definitely been down that road myself. So don't have an app yet, but I don't know. Maybe I need to talk to some people in Kansas City.
Yeah, the part of the reason why we're so excited to be here right now, and like you mentioned, this grant competition today. These things happen here all the time. For a Midwest city that's not really on the radar in the tech space, the startup space here is incredible, and just the support system from the local organizations here, like KC Digital Sandbox, like entrepreneurial scholars at the University of Missouri Kansas City, who we were with today, and there's so many more. That if you're looking to start an app or build a fitness app or any sort of thing that you think you can offer, especially if it's something that's going to give a huge benefit to society. The amount of support and just the blood, sweat, and tears from people who really have no other stake in you other than just wanting to help is absolutely incredible. Being for someone who lived on the East Coast and tried to be an entrepreneur on the East Coast, it doesn't even compare. It's a really, really exciting, neat place to live.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that myself, because I definitely, being here today myself, I did feel an extra push in this, a little extra excitement from the energy that was surrounded by us. So I'm definitely even more excited by what we have to come.
Yeah. Anything exciting you can share from the competition you guys were a part of today, or?
Well, we did make it through the first round into the second, into the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andrew had said earlier, we were up against some pretty tough contenders. So,
as soon as we walked in the building today, I know these individuals personally. I didn't know they were competing. They didn't put a list of who the competitors were out ahead of time. And so as soon as I saw a few of these individuals, I was like, oh no, this is going to be tough. The winner, the outright winner today, was this great company called Healthy Hip Hop that uses hip hop to educate. They have a DVD series, and as I said, they had been on an episode of Shark Tank previously and had some weird things happen, but actually did have a deal in principle with Kevin O'Leary. It ended up falling through for other reasons, but I mean, they're just a great group of guys, a guy named Roy and another guy named Reggie. They go to a lot of schools here in Kansas City, and they put on these shows for kids. It's supposed to be a combination of education and fitness. They're another really great episode for your app if you're looking to feature a company that gets people moving.
Yeah, and ultimately the biggest thing for us is the biggest thing we take out of this is the networking. It's obviously the most important thing in a business is knowing the right people, surrounding yourself with good people who are going to help support you and push you to, complete your goal. So again, that's, that was the sort of the crowd that we were surrounded by today, and it was very motivating, and we're definitely ready to continue on with this.
Just getting past the first round, honestly, was pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, technically 2 rounds, because you had to pass the business plan round to get into the actual competition itself.
Got it.
Just the quality of the competition made it well worth it to get past.
No, it's super exciting. I love what you guys shared, just that environment that you were experiencing today. I mean, sounds like that's what you're trying to build with the app for our running community. So that's really cool. Just a supportive community and being surrounded around other people that want to see you succeed, even if they're competing against you. But
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's being a runner myself. That's the one thing I've realized about the running world is that you're competing against everybody else. You're sort of more competing against yourself, but there is a lot of encouragement in the running world, especially with some of the groups that I run with. We push anybody to come out and run with us. There's always a good reason to come out and be healthy, run, and you get to socialize after. Make new friends, and it's just a good environment to be surrounded by overall.
Sure. Well, I'm definitely excited to check things out and be an administrator and have people experience the app when they come out to the Hermosa Beach Farmers Market for one of my fun runs. So I'm excited about that.
We appreciate you helping promote us. It's very exciting to, get outside of our own little worlds in Rhode Island and Kansas City and talk to someone else. Ultimately, that's going to be the sort of things that helps us grow. So we really, really appreciate you having us.
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine. Just wanted to remind you that if you are local to Hermosa Beach, that I'm going to be hosting a fun run off of the Hermosa Beach Pier this week on Wednesday, May 16th, and next month on Wednesday, June 20th. So save the dates. If you join us and run in person and register, you can receive a sparkly finisher's medal, and once I get set up as an administrator, you can compete with other fun runners. So stay tuned for that. Stop by the market to learn more and follow the podcast and show notes to see how to download the app. I am really excited to test this out with you, and to cheer you on. If you subscribe to the podcast, I will chat with you again tomorrow. Bye.